The characteristics of the jinn is that we learn that the story of Sulaiman when he wanted to bring the throne from the Queen of Sheba. And we know that Sulaiman was given power over the jinn. When he wanted to be given the throne from the Queen of Sheba, what did he say? That who will bring me her throne before she manages to come to me? Now Sulaiman is in his temple, his masjid of Jerusalem, which was considered to be the most magnificent structure ever built by men up until that point in time. But it wasn't built by men, it was built by jinn. But it was considered to be a magnificent structure. Tall, towering walls, what we would call minarets as well. Massive slabs that humanly were not possible to do. This was a structure that was simply dazzling beyond recognition. And the Queen of Sheba had a throne that she was proud of. And perhaps it was a magnificent throne, but it didn't compete with the Sulaiman temple. Perhaps it was a magnificent throne. Now, the fact that the Hudhud or the Hupi, who has seen the palace of Sulaiman, still considers her throne to be magnificent, clearly shows it was a magnificent throne. Clear? So, Sulaiman wants to show who has Allah Azza wa Jal protecting him and who has no one. So, he says to his entire army, tens of thousands of men, the jinn are over there, the animals and the birds and everything is there. And he says, who will bring me her throne? So, the first entity to stand up was قَالَ عِفْرِيتٌ مِّنَ الْجِنِّ, an ifrit of the jinn. But basically one type of jinn. The fact that this story is being mentioned in the Quran and that it's taking place in the time of Sulaiman when all of the jinn are under his control, and that this jinn boasts of this feat, indicates that this is the world record that is jinnly possible. That this is the pinnacle of what is jinnly possible. You cannot go beyond this. A number of things to derive from this, and this story really, it summarizes pretty much most of the characteristics of the jinn. So the jinn is saying, release me from servitude, from bondage, set me free, and let me go and bring the throne. وَإِنِّي عَلَيْهِ لَقَوِيٌّ أَمِينٌ. I promise you, I'm strong and trustworthy. So he wants freedom, and he's promising to come back, because once he's left that, then it's like releasing a wild dog. How do you know he's going to come back? So he's promising him, I promise you I'll be trustworthy. You see the point here, right? Another thing we learn is that the speed of travel. Sulaiman is in Jerusalem. The Queen of Sheba is in Yemen. The city is what? Saba. The city is Saba. To this day it is a famous city, right? And the distance between them is the entire Arabian Peninsula. By plane in our times, it will take around 2 to 2.5 hours. By plane. Even in a jet, it will take you around 45 minutes to 70 minutes. Even in the fastest jet that we know. What is the jinn saying? Before you can stand up, I will have the chair in front of you. I'll have the throne in front of you. Which means what? He will traverse the entire peninsula and bring the chair back in milliseconds. Milliseconds. Now, that is exactly how fast energy and light would travel. Speed of light, exactly. It's the speed of light. That's exactly what it is. He'll be able to come and back. Also, so we learn from this the speed of the jinn. We also learn from this the physical strength of the jinn. One can imagine or visualize that this throne, again, we don't know, but we can assume how large is a throne going to be. As large as this room maybe, right? As large or massive as going up as high as this room. And it will be a massive structure. Perhaps it would take 40, 50, 60 men to pick it up. Maybe even more. And the jinn is basically saying, I will bring it back single-handedly. What does that show? The average jinn is stronger than the average man. That doesn't mean every jinn is stronger than every man. Like we say, the average man is stronger than the average woman. There are some women, mashallah, tabarakallah, what can we say, right? And may Allah Azza wa Jal protect all of you from being married to them. But there are some women, they are stronger than men. in every sense of the term. Okay? Another thing that we see from this story is that the jinn has the speed to travel, has the strength to lift it up, and this is to me the most interesting and bizarre and Einsteinian, and that is the jinn has the capacity or the power to transform matter into energy. E equals mc squared comes into play here. To has the power to transform matter into energy and take that energy at the speed of light and then re-bring it back to the way that it was. Because obviously, the jinn is going to bring this throne not in a physical manner, pick it up and bombard out of the palaces of the Queen of Sheba, and you will see a big throne flying in the air all the way to Jerusalem, and people are wondering, no, it will disappear there and appear over there. We are living at a time when we understand how that is possible, even though it's not humanly possible. You understand this point, right? 50 years ago, 100 years ago, this would have been bizarre. Like how? What? Now, thanks to Mr. Einstein, it's actually very understandable that it is conceivable, that energy is transferred to matter, matter is transferred. We don't have the power to do that at will. But clearly, some of the jinn do. Maybe not all of them, but some of the jinn do. Clearly, the jinn are very different than us. And Allah has blessed us with more wisdom and intelligence and aql than the jinn. So the jinn have more physical capabilities than us. They're faster, they're stronger, they're invisible to us, and they can transform energy and matter back and forth. All of this is great and fine and dandy, but we have more wisdom than them. And wisdom trumps physical power. And that is why the manual labor amongst us gets paid $8, $9 an hour, whereas the guy in the Wall Street office gets paid his entire year's wage in a day, or the CEO's in a second, as you know I'm talking about here, right? And that is why, even though Iblis was created from nar, and Adam was created from turab, Allah Azza wa Jal blessed Adam over Iblis. Intellectually, we are at the top. And so we win. Doesn't matter how fast they can go, doesn't matter how quick they can dance, we have the brains over them. Of the characteristics of the jinn is that the evil jinn love to inhabit evil places. The filthy jinn love to inhabit filthy places. And we learn this from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that the Prophet ﷺ said, these bathrooms are inhabited. These bathrooms there are things in those bathrooms. So when you enter the bathroom, make sure that you seek refuge in Allah from al-khubuthi wal-khaba'ith. So these are some of the characteristics in the Quran and Sunnah of the jinn.